Peace, family. This is your boy Gerald. It is the 11th of December 2021. How is everybody doing? So, currently, right now, I'm actually watching the pay-per-view. I'm a diehard UFC fan, and I got it on mute because your boy's in his feelings. There's no way around it. And as I always do, I try to process because it's my emotions. But I would be lying to you guys if I didn't feel a certain kind of way right about now, family. I'm feeling a certain kind of way because, see, the beautiful thing about communication, it is an art that can never be mastered. It requires unconditional effort and practice. Even the things that are not said, that are exchanged non-verbally, your body language, your disposition, your approach. These things are key and pivotal on what efforts are being conveyed. So it can't be misconstrued. So it can't be misinterpreted. But I put a video out earlier this morning when I started my day about the importance of being aware not only of your surrounding, but the value of that, as you know, is your what you would deem as your perception. Because see, all these things have importance when it comes to the makings of you. I never thought in 2021 there would be so much discord as well as vigor when it came to projecting a certain dialogue to support the vision. How is that possible? We have artificial intelligence pushing every boundary that is made public because there's other things going on behind the scenes that those who are not privileged to have access to due to economics. But like everything, no different than a car, you may have the top shelf item. Eventually, the technology will eventually be shifted to make room for the new. So let's talk about you. Why you? Because there'll never be another you. Ever. Let's make that clear. But as I mentioned in my last video, we have gotten conditioned through events, circumstances, and unfortunately, dilemma, that we've kind of lost focus on that thing called time. Your most precious resource that you will ever pertain or obtain, excuse me, because I'm in my feelings right now. But guess what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't have any impact until you don't have enough. Family, I tried as respectfully as I could to find the words to convey to the intended heart, intended mind, that this is your story. Everything that is being portrayed, revealed, or removed still has a value of accountability, ownership. But if you let the people in the cheap seats, the naysayers, the ones that don't give a damn about you, oh, I'm on my bullshit today. If you let them express the dialogue or the narrative of your life, they want to keep you blind. They want to keep you confused. They want to keep you led astray. Why? Because if you by chance remotely figure out there is something better, something more deserving when it comes to you, it goes against everything they have set in motion. Who am I talking to? Queens. Let me pump my brakes. Let me throw this disclaimer out here. Your boy has got to reach the intended heart, intended mind on the level they are in. So I know that some of y'all don't take it serious until you hear certain choice words being conveyed. But the question should be asked, why? Why does it take that? Why does that energy have to be given in exchange just for you to have awareness? Don't you realize how much you deserve? Meanwhile, you're stressing yourself going from to and fro, this way and that way, online, double click, take it out the car for someone that don't even deserve to hear you, don't deserve to hear you breathe. Why are you why are you rewarding bad behavior? Why are you doing that? Why? If society had it, Queens, if society had it their way, they want you to believe your role in life is to play the role of the Jezebel. They want you to sabotage your womb. Why do you think they promoted Hot Girl Summer? Oh, don't. If they can do it, I can do it too. At what expense? Another STI? Having to discover on your next pap smear, oh, you got a couple fibroids growing in there. Or worse. I'm sorry, Miss Fill in the blank. You're going to have to get a hysterectomy, which means your ovaries come out, which means you are barren. But if you let the naysayer, the naysayers tell you it's part of the game, just chalk the L up. But your life is not a game, it's a reality that's only custom tailored for one. Why do you think I I stress this each and every time? Queen, stop looking for your man. Prepare for him. Why do you think I say that to you? Because as long as you take it upon yourself, all you're going to do is attract what you don't need, which means pain, distraction, denial, and ultimately destruction. But you let them tell you that? Oh, it's your civic duty. You're supposed to do that. You're supposed to live your best life. But, but if anybody had just objectively had this to consider, what about this? Wouldn't the best tactic when it comes to living your best life would be not putting yourself in harm's way? Why do you think I always conveyed to you? Sidestep the negative. Because you're doing yourself the best service you can. Because those who do not have your best interest won't have access to you. That's why I've always conveyed that beautiful word called no. So what do you mean? No. See, the beautiful thing about no, it doesn't mean forever. It means under review. That means what you're offering, you got to step your game up. You have to revise it. It is not acceptable. So let's talk about behavior. Let's acknowledge communication. So how can someone exhibit the best behavior, offer the best behavior, if they can't communicate? Don't you notice the people that have an issue with communication are the first ones that show frustration? They're more frustrated at themselves because they can't convey what they need to convey, so they blow up. They want to break stuff, which ain't nothing but another setback on their part. So that is the reason when they act in that way, it is nothing but frustration being exhibited. But see, that's where the self-discipline come in. That's where the ownership comes in. Because without ownership, you cannot position yourself for acceptance. And without acceptance, you can't make room for change. Who am I talking to? But see, the naysayers, They already know that requires work. It's easy for me to point fingers and come up with excuses than commit to self and embrace change. That's why they don't talk about it. They want to point fingers about it's them. Why is she ratchet? Why he don't have any value? Let me explain something to you. Number one, we attract what we are. Did you process it? I'm waiting. Oh, let me know. I'll say it again. We attract what we are. One of the greatest lies that was told to man was opposites attract. So you're saying because I'm broke I'm broke, I'm gonna attract somebody with wealth? No, you're not. It don't work that way. There must be change and positioning before that can even be an option. Doesn't mean it can't, but you have to be ready by being able to do that self work so that you can receive it. That's why I've always echoed in the past. If I came to you with $1 million check, but you don't even know the value of $1, one, what's the probability that you'll be able to hold on to that $1 million? It is extremely low. So, on the flip side, if you don't see your self worth and value, how do you think you're going to be able to protect it in an environment that cannot see your worth? I'll wait. I'll wait. We got all this energy about empowerment, but you don't hear no one talking about ownership. They talk about generational wealth, but they won't talk about emotional ownership. Why? Because you can't talk about something you ain't did yet. Newsflash, let me go back a little bit because some of y'all can relate to this. Remember when you wanted to have that heart to heart conversation with maybe a family member or somebody that you considered family, and you had your heart on your sleeve and you went there, and what do? They shut you down. They quickly got off that subject. They deflected it. Why? Because that was a requirement that had yet to be mastered. So instead of having the integrity to say, well, you know what? I wish I could give you the answer that you truly need. And I appreciate that. But I'm still trying to work on that myself. That's why you hear people always use that excuse when things get tough. Well, you know, I'm still working on myself. Okay, well, you've been on that for about 10 years now. Nah, you know, it's the system. You know, trying to keep a person down. Ain't nobody trying to keep nobody down. You not investing on to get yourself up. So when that strategy don't work, this is what they do. They give you space. Because see, they know right now the focal point is you want to better yourself. They know that. And right now, they haven't figured out a way to pick the emotional lock. So they're gonna give you space. And they're gonna hope that that said space is long enough so when they turn around and come around the corner, with a different approach, you'll be back on the same bullshit that you was that kept you broken. Who am I talking to? Queen. Nobody was talking about economic partnership 3 years ago. You had a couple people that were talking about the consistency of having a healthy relationship and what was required. I will acknowledge that. But these people were they were actively married. They were actually embracing the example of what's required based off of their life to show you that it could be done. You wasn't talking about beta and alpha. First of all, how can you be an alpha or a beta if you don't even know who the fuck you are? Because 85% of the planet mimics. They imitate. That's why you hear the term fake it to make it. So what do you think the other 15 is? They're the ones that have casted the net so the other 85% can play their part. That's why you only have a certain amount of CEOs and COOs. But you got a shitload of employees now, don't you? Why aren't we talking about that? We want to make excuses about the big scheme of things. But none of that matters until you're willing to look in that mirror that greets you every freaking day for you to truly understand your placement. Now, can the roles reverse? Yes. Happens every day. It's called dedication. It's called commitment. It's called focus. It's called acknowledgement. You can't cheat your way to a certain status. That's why a lot of times when you see people that try to, just as quick as they got there, just as hard they fall. But let's talk about what's at stake. It's called your heart. See, society don't want you to be the best you can be. They're hoping that strategically, if the economic potholes of diversity of life don't trip you up socially, the snare will get you. Because they know until you're able to have that conversation with yourself first, you won't be able to get to the end goal. And you know what happens to those folks? They want to stay on that hamster wheel. They want to constantly point that finger out. And you fail to realize one finger pointed out is four fingers pointed in. Because at the end of the day, we are what we attract. So when I hear people say, well, this demographic don't care about them, or this demographic is disconnected, they ignore the fact that the application for the demographic that they're talking about would not have no merit unless you were there. Nobody can do anything to you unless you allow it, indirectly or directly. Who am I talking to? That's why the bully, that's why the bully always gets his ass handed to him. That will always be. Why? Because people think that they can say and do whatever and there's no recourse. That's why the most threatening person you'll ever come in contact with is that quiet person. The person that don't make no noise. The person that don't walk in ego. The person that don't want drama. That's the person that will put you in the grave. Because all they want to do is live at peace. All they want to do is be respectful. All they want to do is enjoy their life. But there's always a tough girl and a tough guy that want to get tested. And those will be the ones that end up on the 6 o'clock news because, unfortunately, somebody then took their life. That's the sad reality we live in. Okay, I know that was a little macabre. I'm sorry. But, family, an opportunist's job is never done. It is parallel just like the devil's work. They want to catch you slipping because they know as long as you're not focused, you are the entertainment, not the exception to the rule. They know that. Why you think that X calls you out of the blue? Who am I talking to? I just want that old feeling back. I done changed. I know I was wrong. Well, you know what? People have the ability to change every day. But you gauge a person's change through time. Because that might be just a mask. Because they may have an agenda for you that you don't realize. Oh, it's the season to be given. I ain't coming out of my pocket. I'm going to reach out and talk to such and such. She'll get it for me. Or flip the script. Well, I know he likes this. And if I do it this way and I add a little spice to it, and even if I throw in that, I'll end up getting that too. But what are you wagering? Your self-respect? Putting a price tag on the love below? Is that what we're doing? Because society wants you to play the role, the mindset of the pimp and the prostitute. It's true. But you are the exception to the rule. You always was. You always was. And you deserve to be happy. But I get it. Some of y'all are like, you don't understand, Gerald. I got needs. I got a scratch I need itch. You know, on the other side of my bed, it's always cold when I come home. But guess what? Even if it's cold, you still got peace of mind because it's under your control. You ain't got to worry about the bullshit that's outside your door. You're controlling that. That is your domain. That's why I used to always tell everybody. Tired of the bullshit? Burn sage. Burning around every door sill, every window sill, every mirror. And watch what happens. Because that's a spiritual herb. But, unfortunately, because of the social narrative, they want to convince you you are less than if you are not about the flock. You know the old saying, birds of a feather flock together, but I added a twist to it. But birds of a feather flock together, but if a flock has no direction, it only goes to death. Why? Because a discord is waiting on them. It never fails. Hold that thought. Now, don't get me wrong. This is not a video to vent. No, it's not. This is a video of awareness because I need you to step back and see what's going on, not only in your personal life, those that you've allowed access to, but society wise. Society wise. Because look, let's not ignore the fact you got countless people that are passing away before their time because of health reasons. You have a demographic of folks that are not being able to reproduce, as well as you have a demographic of folks that believe the planet is overpopulated. Globally, do the research. It's there. But it doesn't matter until you look how that has an impact on your individual life. Now, I would be remiss to say this. Exes are there for a reason. That's for somebody. Somebody needs to hear that right now. Because you're feeling a certain kind of way. You don't know if you should stay firm or your heart is saying, back down memory lane. I can see the photographs. I'm going to just say this. Can people change? Every day. But just do not ignore what caused the separation. Where you were in that said separation. Own that. Take accountability on that. Now, look at the dynamic or the commonality with everyone that has been afforded the opportunity to be in your life in that way. If you see a commonality or pattern, you need to look at yourself, because we teach people how we wish to be treated. Well, Gerald, I just like to run my mouth and I lose my self-control. You don't need to be with nobody. Not right now. Because you might attract somebody into your life that may put you in grave danger or worse. Because everybody wants to play the tough cookie until the harder biscuit comes around and shows them the real. Then they'll be like, oh, I'm the victim. No. Keep your hands to yourself, because love don't hurt, King. And let me talk about my kings. If you got to put your hands on a female to express yourself, you're not a man. You're a coward. You are. And I'm going to tell you why. Because you are working off of the mindset of one thing. If you knew that there was a male presence in her life, you would think twice. If she had a brother, a cousin, an uncle, her father, I don't give a damn if it's her granddad in her life, You wouldn't do what you think you can get away with. And you reap what you sow. Queen, if you think getting your way is taking it upon yourself to destroy said belongings to him, if you're doing that, that first of all, that means you're immature. You're immature and you don't value yourself because do realize you're going to repay, you're going to buy, that's a free upgrade for them, and you're going to go to jail for assault. You do know that, right? But see, society is convinced a certain demographic of people that if you don't put your hands on them, they don't care. If they don't show their assertiveness, you know the strongest form of assertiveness is called silence. Did you know that? If you didn't learn that in your development, shame on your parents. And that's why a lot of times the product of what's being shown in society today is because you have a lot of fathers not being fathers to their sons by choice. It's easy to make them but not claim them, and that makes you a coward. No way around that. And you're gonna reap what you sow. You are. No way around that. You're gonna pay for everything that you have yet to do. And I pray that it does not be exhibited through your children's lives. Because that's usually how it happens. That's why you hear the term sins of a father ends up being the tears of a child. But that can be applicable to women too. Because you have a lot of women out there that you can conceive, but that doesn't make you a mother either. hmm I don't care if they say it's made out of platinum, Queen. It will never make up the value of your life. How about your dignity? How about your self respect? How about his last name? But as long as you keep listening to what the naysayers take, you're doing what they want you to do. You're a puppet. hmm And they know that. Because the main ones that are saying you should do this and do that, guess what? They married. They ain't living that. They're doing that for clicks. hmm They know that too. Just know I love each and every one of you. You deserve to be happy. And let me tell you something. Because I'm going to tell you how the machine works. Some of y'all remember, especially on the R&B side of the house, every year, the Emotions, a group, legendary icon group called the Emotions, had a song called "What Do the Lonely Do at Christmas," and it's a very sad song. Prince has "One Lonely Christmas," but they play those songs to get here, to get there, to get you to do something that you will regret. Maybe, just maybe, the greatest gift you need is their absence. Their absence, because like you hear, absence makes the heart grow fonder. But if there's no respect, we'll make another wander, and you don't need them. I'm gonna stop right there because I got some stuff to say for 22. Just know, don't fall for the okey doke. Because guess what? The naysayers are sitting at a table called misery, and it's endless. They just want you to sit down. Why? Because they knew that you were a threat the moment that you said hello. Be blessed.